Ladies and gentlemen, do not adjust your monitors. This is an edition of Flesh Wound Horror, and I am not Daniel Shine, as you can see by the hair and a lack of a hat. And I could say much better looking, let's be honest. Now, I'm not going to ask your gentlemen's opinions, but we all know what the right opinion is. Now, my name is Ozzy V. I am the world's first and only combination trivia host and professional wrestling announcer of Chilean descent that currently resides in Southern California. And joining me on this special episode of Flesh Wound Horror, where we will be discussing Mortal Kombat, we have first Pugs. How you doing, Pugs? Which side are you on?
Namaste.
That
What's
side.
up? I'm on that side.
You are on that side. How you doing today?
Your fucking jersey. That shit's killer.
Oh, well, yeah. This is total from geekyjerseys.com. Not a sponsor, but hey, we'll talk about that momentarily. Also with us, Flesh Wound producer Todd. How you doing?
Chilling.
Yeah, should have known. And also joining us, Mike Kruger.
What's up, you sick motherfuckers? What's up, man? Good to see you.
It is. I am excited to talk about this movie. So just to break down what exactly is going to happen, we are going to be talking about the recent release of Mortal Kombat that's available right now on HBO Max until May 23rd, I believe. Rated R.
And in theaters.
And in theaters. I'm sorry. I'm not there. I'll tell you, if I saw this in the theater, I would have cheered my fucking ass off.
Spoiler. Ozzy loved it. I knew that going in.
But just to break down what we're going to do, we're going to talk about this movie. We'll have non-spoiler thoughts, and then we'll rate our opinion of the movie, and then we'll have spoiler thoughts on the film, and then we'll just have a general discussion about Mortal Kombat. So without any further ado, you guys ready to get started?
Absolutely.
Fight. Okay. So yeah, if you don't mind me jumping into this now, real quick story about this jersey. The reason I wore it is because in the recent downloaded content of Mortal Kombat 11, the Terminator is a playable character, and holy cow, I've never had so much fun watching the Terminator fight RoboCop. Finally, it was like me at 8 years old has come like, yes, finally. And then Rambo showing up. Sylvester Stallone actually providing his voice. Fantastic. Granted, he had a newer movie coming up, but hey, I don't care. I'll take it. This is fantastic. So I'm sorry.
I'm going to stop you right there because you've brought this up before. So at the very end, we're going to say who would win, RoboCop or the Terminator, because we've had that argument a few times.
Yes. Okay.
So
yes.
We'll do that
I
at the
understand.
end.
And rather, I did jump the gun a little bit and kind of delve into a general discussion about Mortal Kombat. Pugs, I believe you were about to say something.
Oh no, I was gonna say I bought the newest Mortal Kombat as soon as RoboCop became available. I still haven't plugged it into my fucking PlayStation.
What are you doing?
I know.
Oh man,
dude. As soon as RoboCombat, as soon as RoboCop showed up, though, I was like ordered right away.
Yeah.
One day I'll plug it in.
So I apologize to slightly jump the gun on more of the video game discussion, but just a backstory on the jersey and my reason for wearing it. But in terms of this film, so non-spoiler thoughts, when I turned on the movie, I just wanted to see some gory fighting, gory violence, because when I played the last one, what was so great about them is they made it a free upgrade for the PS5. So I played through it, and it seemed like it just got to a point where the creators like, let's just try to make it as gory and violent as possible, like ridiculous violence, like almost how cartoons had like ridiculous humor. The games were ridiculous violence, and the story. I'll get to that towards the end, but that's what I was wanting from this film, and I felt that's what I got from this film. It wasn't perfect by any means. I'm going to be completely honest when I say I felt the main character Cole and whoever played Sonya Blade were completely devoid of charisma. And I was just kind of bored whenever they were featured, and there was no. I understand why they were casted because they can fight well, at least in my opinion. I bought it right when I saw it happen. But man, I don't go to McDonald's for a salad, so. But I enjoyed it a lot, and I think if anyone was just a fan of the games in terms of just like, yeah, this is the violence that we wanted from the very beginning. Like, so I was all about it. I'll go into your guys. I'll let you guys go into your opinions first, and then we'll rate, and then we'll go into the spoiler thoughts. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, Pugs.
First and foremost, Kano stole the fucking show for me. That dude is funny as hell. I will quote some lines later, but highlighted the movie for me, without a doubt. Action-wise, I can't ask for more. Gore-wise, I can't ask for more. Story-wise, we could ask a little more. And also, at one point in one of these movies, I would like an actual tournament, but whatever. I get some fucking gnarly fights, good-looking characters. Yeah, I've got really no complaints because what I wanted from the movie, I mostly got, which was violence and a few laughs. So I was happy. Well, I'll say leaving the theater, but I didn't do it. I watched it at home, but I want to. Yeah, I dug it.
I'm sorry to add in real quick. It felt like I played through the game real quick. Like if this was Mortal Kombat 12, I wouldn't be surprised. And I know like you might be groaning or whatever, but there was also Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. So let's not, like.
What's wrong with Deadly Alliance?
I can't remember which one it was. I remember there was one where I was like, maybe I'm even thinking before that, where it was Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 and Sub-Zero wasn't in the suit anymore.
Yeah, that's Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3.
That's where I am.
I mean, there's a costume like that in Deadly Alliance, but
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to jump in there, but it felt like I just played through a quick version of the game.
Right on.
Of a release or a DLC.
More Kano. Bring him back. Yeah, we want Kano.
Well, they made a point to say something in the movie, but we'll talk about that in spoilers. Pugs, were you done?
Yes, Kano.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you. Kano all the way. He stole the show for me. Same complaints you guys have. Story wasn't. It needed some work, but it wasn't. It did need the work of the original. We'll say that. I'm not as I don't have like such a close relationship with the game like Pugs and I don't know where you are.
Same.
Okay, with Kruger and Ozzy. So I mean, I go back from memory. I've only really played maybe the first 2 Mortal Kombats when they were new, and that was cool. Doing quarters in there. So yeah, I mean, I went in like that, and even not like knowing the game by heart, was it a perfect Mortal Kombat movie? No, but I think that they didn't try to shoehorn all the characters in. Is kind of that was a big problem in the last one. So we can get other characters in future installments if we get them. And I did venture out to see this in theaters in Dolby Cinema, and it was fantastic.
Did anybody cheer?
There was some reactions. I know, like, and normally these lines can come off corny, but like some of the video game lines, like "finish me" or "finish him," and a couple of the other ones that the catchphrases they used, to me, they didn't come off corny like "Welcome to Texas, motherfucker" or some of the other Trick or Treat from some other horror films. But yeah, it felt like it like fit in with what they were doing. It didn't feel like it was just like shoehorned, hammered in, and it made people laugh. So
yes.
Kruger.
all right. So, Mortal Kombat is my favorite video game of all fucking time. I have every single one of them. I have the fucking arcade in my house. So this shit's like gospel to me. So I'm gonna go on a bit of a rant here.
Go for it.
About some stuff. I'll say this: as far as characters go, they got a few right, like perfect right. Sub-Zero, I think definitely like his character was fucking awesome, and just everything they put into that character was perfect for the movie. Cabal was great too, and Scorpion to an extent was really good. And Kano, like you guys already said, he definitely stole the show. As far as his performance, there was some stuff with his lore that kind of bothered me, but I'll get into a little bit some of that later. The one thing I will say though, they got a lot of characters wrong. I mean, just off the top of my head, Goro, Shang Tsung, Raiden, Liu Kang, they're all major weak points for me. Those are extremely important characters to Mortal Kombat and the Mortal Kombat story. as it's already been brought up before, new character Cole Young is fucking dog shit. I mean, he is one of the most uninteresting fucking characters that you could possibly come up with. And the fact that he's the focal point of the film annoyed the fucking living shit out of me and really disappointed me, especially towards the end when the story kind of arcs back around to him and maybe his family and stuff. I was just like, God damn it, man. I really wish they didn't go this way. Not to mention, they disrespected my favorite character in the franchise, Reptile, like a motherfucker. And I mean, compared to the original Mortal Kombat movie and the 95 one, Reptile versus Liu Kang is the best fight scene in that whole fucking movie. And the fight sequence that Reptile gets for this movie was just really disappointing in comparison to the other one. So on top of like the character problems I had, there were some major plot points in the story that just bothered the fuck out of me. I thought the whole dragon.
I don't mean to cut you off, but did you want to save any of that for the spoiler thoughts?
I got my stuff separated. Okay. No, it's all good though. But on top of the character problems, the story I had some major plot problems with. I thought the dragon tattoo transferring from person to person and the whole Arcana thing was just kind of unneeded, especially with it just did not work for characters like Kano, Sonya, Jax, and Cole Young's Arcana was just dumb. I fucking hated it. And the art
like a traditional video game movie. Sorry,
right?
It feels like it sounds like something like an executive would say from the outside, like, "Hey, what if he just wrapped it because he's a shoot fighder, right? What if he was just wrapped in tape?
Yeah,
what if that was his thing?
If it would have looked good." That would have been one thing, but it didn't look good. It looked stupid, and that whole Arcana thing reminded me so much of the bad Mortal Kombat movie, Mortal Kombat Deadly or Mortal Kombat Annihilation, like when they did the whole animality thing, and it just ended up being really fucking stupid. That's how I felt this Arcana thing was, and that's what it just reminded me of that terrible, horrible Mortal Kombat movie. As Pugs already said too, there being no Mortal Kombat tournament in this really fucking hurt it for me. I just was really disappointed in that big time. And the story seems like it's all a setup to something bigger. Probably the next movie we're gonna get's gonna be the tournament. But just them being no tournament, how are you gonna have a Mortal Kombat movie with no tournament? It really bothered the hell out of me, and I felt that kind of is the whole point of the game is to kind of have that tournament and just maybe not the newer games, but at least the older games and the story that they're trying to tell. I felt there should have been the tournament. One thing I will say, some of the CGI in it looked really good, but there was some stuff that looked really unpolished and kind of rushed for me. A big one for me was Goro. I didn't think he looked good at all. And I thought the model itself wasn't very good. And just when he was in motion, it looked unnatural. And the whole fight sequence with him just, I don't know, it felt rushed. There's also a sequence with Melina that could have looked really cool if it was more polished. And a lot of stuff like that in the movie just seemed a little rushed for me. But I will say Reptile looked cool as fuck. And the landscape of Outworld was really well done. I thought that looked awesome. As Ozzy said, the fight sequences are the shit. I mean, they're really fucking good, especially when Scorpion and Sub-Zero are getting down. The whole fight, the choreography is just fantastic. And the one thing that this does have over the 95 film is there is bloody and gory as fuck fatalities. And the fatalities are absolutely the best thing about this movie to me. We were promised blood, fucking gore of, Mortal Kombat magnitude, and that's exactly what we got. I will say though, and they need to right this wrong in the sequel. There being no spine rip. Come on, man. That's the most iconic fucking Mortal Kombat fatality. How are you not going to have that in this movie?
the money's in the chase. They got to save something for the next one.
Yeah, right. But I'm
point.
just like having Sub-Zero not rip somebody's spine out. I felt that was a little bit of injustice, and that was just I went into this like there's certain things that would win me over, and that would have been one of them. But overall, like I think this movie's gonna split people. I think if you're like a hardcore like balls to the wall, you know the lore of every single character in Mortal Kombat like I do, I think you're going to be a little bit disappointed, especially with some of the decision making they make with like I said, the dragon tattoo and the Arcana thing. But I do understand why people really enjoy it. I really wish I could be one of them. I watched it twice, and my opinion hasn't changed. I'm just a bit disappointed, even though there's things I like. I'm just overall not happy with it.
There's some things that I wanted to circle back on, I think, when we have our general discussion about Mortal Kombat, because listening to you talk about it, I have some thoughts, but I think it belongs more in that general discussion that I think will be really interesting to talk about. So let's go into ratings real quick. Now, I don't know exactly how ratings are done.
0.
Well, I mean, I get that, but always on the comedy or the Flesh Wound Farce show, we always say, as a movie, it'd be this, but as a comedy, it'd be this. Like, how much fun did I have with it, right? Okay. So as a movie, I'd probably like give it like a 2 or 2.5. But how much fun did I have with it? Probably like a 4 or 4.5, to be honest, because there was, and I'll get into this when we talk about the spoiler thoughts, but if there is a movie that gets me at home to stand up and be like, dude, that's at least a 4. So as a movie, it's rough. But if you're in it for the fight scenes, like 1,000 thumbs up. I mean, I couldn't have enjoyed it more just because, like, and when we get into the general discussion, I think I understand why I enjoy it as much as I did. So it would be a 2, or I guess I'd have to pick between 2 and 2.5.
2.5 would be average, dead in the middle.
I'd say 2 then, but fun factor of like 4.5.
Right on.
So it was a bad fun movie.
All right.
So
I had a fucking way too much fun not to aim high, and I'm giving it an extra point just because Kano fucking is my new hero. 4.5. I can rewatch this all the time, even if I just skip to the fight scenes. I'm good. It's
Mortal Kombat, the Pugs cut.
Yeah, right.
Just all the fight scenes back to back. Let's do it.
Dude, that'd be the Pugs and Kruger cut.
Right. Yeah, I'm a 4, just factoring in the fun. If I was doing it with the movie, I'd probably go 2.5. It is average, but I had so much fun with it. But I don't know the games like you. Like the whole transferring thing didn't bother me because it was building up for Sonya to get hers so she could do it. So like I said, my Mortal Kombat experience is just 2 guys fighting and pushing buttons. So like I'm mad we didn't get Mortis to show up in here, but wait.
God damn it. Fucking you should have said Glacier though.
I was I was going back and forth between those two. So for me, I'm just a straight 3 out of 5. Okay. Like I really wanted to like this movie, and even with all the things I did enjoy, I can't give it anything past a 3. Okay, that's higher than I thought you were going to come with. So,
yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, there we go. If you don't want to hear any more spoilers, we're warning you now. And watch it. Come back if you haven't watched it. We're also going to have some general discussion after the spoiler section, and that'll be a little spoily because I mean. It's been 20 plus years. We can't really ruin Mortal Kombat Annihilation at this point.
Yeah.
So, all right, there's your warning.
Yeah, it's funny you said so you can't ruin Annihilation anymore, and I don't know if you caught it because the alarm cut up. can't ruin any more than it ruined itself.
Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna have some controversial statements on that film later.
I think I'm going to as well.
Oh, we're
shit.
gonna have some fun here. There will have
I don't know
some
if it's
fun.
a hill I'm willing to
Okay.
die on, but yeah.
All right. So talking about spoiler thoughts, I mean, absolutely, you guys with Kano and the fucking egg roll thing, just
Can I cut you
I
off real
mean,
quick? My favorite line all throughout the whole fucking movie. All right, Gandalf, what does my fortune cookie say? Dude, right there. I was playing with house money. I'm good.
No, but in terms of a guy who gets his ability just by realizing that ability by getting angry kind of tickled me. But to your point about the Arcana there in the movie, I did think it was kind of ridiculous, but at the same time, what I did appreciate was at least that there was some attempt at an explanation as to why can these guys fire fireballs or why can Kung Lao throw his hat? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
but that's such a fucking
curse.
That just for me, that's such a fucking snobby producer. Like that shit didn't, for me at least. Like that shit didn't need to be explained. Like I'm fine with motherfuckers just learning how to shoot fire out their hands and throw their fucking hat like a buzzsaw. Like I felt like at least for me being just such a there's some things that don't need to be explained. And like that was just one of them for me. And just the way and the way that just the thing that really got me was when it came to Sonya actually. Like when she took out Kano at just looking at how corny it was just watching the tattoo transfer over, and now she's shooting fucking laser beams out of her arms like that. With that character, her whole gimmick has been that she uses technology and fucking goddamn she's like Batman basically. You know what I mean? So like for her to shoot lasers out of her arm is pretty stupid. And I felt like for her character at least, and that's how I felt with Kano too, is like his character, he's a fucking cyborg. And you guys just took that away from him just to explain this Arcana bullshit. And like I felt like they were willing to hurt for me, I just feel like they're willing to hurt the lore of characters just to get this plot point that wasn't even that interesting across.
Okay, I get that, but in terms of Kano not being the cyborg right away, but like Pugs was saying, like sequels, like can you imagine the pop? Like,
oh no, definitely.
And that's what I'd rather see personally, because we'll get to this later. Playing Mortal Kombat 11, seeing old Kano show up against face to face with new Kano, like that popped me because Kano's a great character. So I think I was forgiving of that kind of stuff because I understood like this seemed like a lot of setup. I didn't appreciate it. Raiden's reaction to the fighters, like this is what you gave me to work with, kind of felt like Luke Skywalker at the beginning of Last Jedi. He's like, oh, whatever, just toss the lightsaber over. Like, this is kind of stupid. Like, Raiden should be like, okay, yes, you are the chosen one. Like, if the mark really does mean anything, then he should give a shit about who these people are.
I think like the lady from the Matrix, where he's saying what they need to hear for them to get wherever they need to be. That's how I took it.
Okay, yeah. I mean, again, I wasn't really watching it for that.
Same.
But I think Kung Lao, unfortunately, that character in any film is just destined to look goofy. Because for some reason, like they can't make the hat look as cool in the game on film. Like for some reason, it's cursed. Yeah, it just doesn't. I mean, we'll get into Annihilation soon, but I remember seeing that. I was like, oh god, it's terrible. But the scene where I got off my ass and just like right, motherfucker, is when fucking Cole first uses that blade for the first time and he's bleeding, and then that's when shit happens. It summons Scorpion or whatever, and just when like you knew it was gonna happen, I fucking loved that. And I also, props to Sub-Zero as well. It was fun to see him take over a town almost like just using his icicles, because that's a move he uses in the game. Why not use it on actual people if you're looking for somebody? So it was fun to see stuff like that, and it was fun to see these fights. And again, I'll explain why in our general Mortal Kombat discussion. But and we already rated it, but probably my favorite moment. I mean, obviously, if there was a Mortal Kombat fight cut, that would be everybody's favorite.
Yeah.
So just fight. Here we go.
Did anybody else appreciate the fact that when Sub-Zero, before he became all the ninja, before he became Sub-Zero, when he was still, what's his name? Baihan? Like, as his hand was frozen, there was still like blood underneath. I'm like, oh, so it hurts him. That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah, no, like that first 7 minutes is like fucking perfect. You know what I mean? Like, it's perfect. It's the perfect origin story. I mean, I've seen it done a couple of times now, but like, you know, you've seen it done in the animated thing and stuff, but just they got it done right. That I just think like that may have been another thing for me is like how awesome that first 7 minutes were, and then I just felt it took a dip a bit. The one thing I gotta say, man, they killed Goro off way too fucking easily. Like they really
knew you were gonna be pissed,
dude. Like, how are you gonna have a guy who has just learned his Arcana fucking kill off the champion that won the last 9 fucking tournaments when he's just learning? Like, I understand if we had a whole sequence where he's fucking harnessing his power and fucking learning how to use it, but the first time he uses it, you kill off the fucking guy who's won the last 9 Mortal Kombat tournaments. That was dog shit for me. Like, I was just,
Hey, so answer a quick question, Goro, because Shang Tsung had mentioned when Goro like appeared or whatever, it's great to have Shao Kahn blood in our rank or whatever he said. Goro and Shao Kahn actually related?
No, they're not related, but they're both
okay. I thought that was weird.
They're both part, like Shao Kahn's part dragon. And so is Goro. Goro's like dragon and Shokan. So like he's basically like a super fucking Shokan. So that was the whole gimmick. And like the other thing is like Shang Tsung technically is the champion, but Goro's his bitch. So Goro wins all the tournaments for him, so he doesn't have to fight. So like I felt like they didn't make him menacing like enough, and like it just got really just mistreated like with a character like that. I mean, you go back and look at the original Mortal Kombat movie. I mean, that Goro was badass. You fucking saw him as a threat, and this one was just, it kind of just appeared out of nowhere, and they just used him, you know, to put over Cole, if you will. I have another fucking problem though. So like, let me get this straight. So Sub-Zero, like, I'm going with the movie's telling me at this point. Sub-Zero's whole point was to kill off the last of the Shirai Ryu. So why the fuck would he not kill Cole's wife and daughter if he's a part of Shirai Ryu blood descent? Like, why the fuck would he just leave them there and not kill them off? And I mean, that decision to not have Cole's wife and daughter get murdered by Sub-Zero, I felt was stupid, because like you could have had like you kind of have like a character arc with what happened to Scorpion. You give me more of a reason to give a shit about Cole, but they go with the bullshit happy ending and his wife and kid are fine and he got to them in time or something. I mean, dude, this is Mortal Kombat, motherfucker. What are you doing?
For now.
What?
For now. Sequel.
Well,
annihilate all of them. Fuck that bloodline.
Other than that, though, like, go ahead.
Well, so we saw in the beginning, Hanzo's wife and son frozen exactly how the Cole's wife and daughter were, right?
Yeah,
they were frozen the exact same ways, right?
Yeah.
But he actually killed them in the first one, and he left them stranded in the, or like.
Well, I mean, so yeah. Here's the thing: is that when Hanzo first saw his wife and son, there is not like there is no instant flame that could come on, right? So it's almost that they suffered the same fate as Hanzo's wife and daughter or child or whatever. Sorry, Hanzo's wife and son. Cole's wife and daughter are suffering the same fate. And instead of Sub-Zero killing them, he wants to freeze them so that, because they'll eventually die once they're frozen, or you would think like that. Because in my mind, what I saw Sub-Zero do that to his family, it's like, man, he's letting his, whoever the fuck he wants to kill, like it's almost like, I don't want to kill them because I want you to see them suffering.
I mean, they're dead. They have an icicle through them. I mean,
no, he's talking about Cole's wife and kid. Like that's why he left them breathing, so Cole can watch them die. Right?
Yes. I'm not saying I'm not like saying, oh, this is why it should be good. I'm just saying that's the idea I got from why not kill them? It was because he wants to, because it almost seems like the villain always tries to be as most dastardly as possible. Remember, I gave this movie a 2. So he's trying to be as dastardly as possible, right? And he's like, I'm gonna watch you're gonna watch your family die, then I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, maybe if he had a line that said that, I would be okay with it. But like, you know what I mean? It does just like all of that's kind of just implied. And like at that point, I already hate Cole. Like I hate him so fucking much, and I don't want him on screen anymore. So I'm like just looking like, give me a reason to care for this motherfucker. Kill his kids, like so him and Scorpion fucking are like the same thing. And this, so I have that reason to like him. That him and Scorpion's family suffered the same fate, but.
I thought he was going to turn into Scorpion. Is that not like, I know he's the original thing for the movie, but like when the shit popped up, I'm like, oh, he's all yellow. He's going to get a red next, and then like
I thought maybe. I mean, that would have been cooler.
I honestly thought that's where they were going. Maybe in another movie they'll do it, but because like he was like he's not the best part of the movie at all. He's kind of whack, but like I didn't really mind him as a like, but I don't the property is not like super close to my heart and stuff. I'm just familiar.
No, but I'm with you because he was kind of being haunted by Scorpion's ghost though throughout the movie. So like that would have made stuff that would have been like if we would have booked this, it would have been better.
When he got the blade, I was like, okay, now it's time. He's gonna tell that fucker to get over here.
Yeah.
But then then Scorpion actually shows up. I'm like, oh well, fuck it then.
I was glad that they changed the get over here from the trailer because like. In the trailer, it's very strong Japanese accent, so you kind of didn't really like. It wasn't very clear what he said, so they switched it out to a much more clear "get over here."
Did Ed Boon do it?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe he did. Yeah, that would have been rad. I think we need to talk about some of these fucking fatalities, though.
Let's do it
for sure. So, like, even though it was hard to see my boy get his heart ripped out. Kano doing his iconic fucking fatality did make me fucking go, all right, this is going to be like, again, like I was like, all right, this is going to be fucking awesome. Even though you did my boy Reptile dirty. Fucking, I will say probably my favorite fatality though was Jax's thunderclap when he claps their fucking skull in. I mean, you see pieces of jaw going fucking flying. First off, like out of all the characters they picked, like Rico was actually smart because like nobody ever gives a fuck about that character. But dude, like that was just rad. Like when he did the thunder, and I mean it's from MK2 that originated, and then also like Kung Lao's fucking buzzsaw.
Yeah, that's the one for me. Dude, he rode that shit. It was fucking hard.
Yeah, he fucking rode that bitch out of midair like a skateboard into his buzzsaw. I mean, that's another one, like, that's a fatality that he's had in the past, too, where he fucking puts them through the buzzsaw and bisects them. And just, like, I love, like, the way, his eyes got all crazy when he was doing it, too. He's like, ah, fucking blood's going all over his fucking face. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of. The one thing I will say though, Scorpion's toasty. I was a little bit bummed out that he didn't like rip his face off to reveal a skull, and they kind of went with just like the bottom half of his mouth is burning. I just kind of thought that looked. It would have been cooler if I saw him rip his whole fucking face off and then a flaming skull. He went all Ghost Rider and shit.
That sounds like an executive call. Can we keep some of his face?
Yeah, no, probably. I mean, you're 100% spot on with that. And there's a lot of shit in this that feels like that. But yeah, I mean,
I was going to say. So that means we need the Zack Snyder's Mortal Kombat now.
Fucking
dude, I want it.
How'd you feel about the animality?
Oh, it's not an animality. That's been Liu Kang's fatalities in other games. In Mortal Kombat 2 and Mortal Kombat 3, he has it as an animality. But in Mortal Kombat 2, that was his fatality.
Okay.
So
that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and
I'll
it
explain
goes,
that.
and it goes, and like he's had it throughout other games too. I think like MK9, he turns into a dragon and shit. I wasn't crazy about that one though. Like I thought it was cool, especially because they went with a more updated version where it's just like a dragon made out of fire. But I was a little bit like, I was like, if he turns into a fucking dragon, I'm gonna fucking lose my mind. And I think that would have been a little bit cooler, but that's just for being an old schooler fan.
Got it. Trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to cover that was spoilerish, but I mean, yeah, you guys are spot on about Cole, like completely devoid of charisma. Just the first 5 seconds I saw him, I was like,
Well, dude, and there's so many, like, dude, Mortal Kombat runs so fucking deep. There's so many motherfucking characters you could have picked from, and like you would have just proved that you care about your source material. But I think just coming up with this unoriginal eyesore of a character fucking was the most.
That's a studio call.
Studios
always fucking do this. Like, oh, we should like set ourselves different from the game. Like set ourselves apart in a way
for like the average fan and like that doesn't know anything about it. Like, well, let's go on a journey with this know nothing and let's learn some shit. That's probably why you guys in particular don't like him at all. And I'm like, yeah, he's whatever. He just serves a purpose.
That's where I am. He serves more of a purpose than Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Damn,
it's true.
Bazinga.
Oh, that might be good.
Watch the movie. If Indiana Jones is not in that movie is exactly the same. They still open up the crate and their faces still burn off. He doesn't do anything that changes anything.
Well, that's a discussion for another day.
Okay. Well.
I'm actually going to make a note of that.
All right.
I want to ask though, you guys weren't mad that Kano got taken out so lame? Like,
yeah.
I was happy.
I was like, fucking garden gnome, seriously? You couldn't have come up. I was really hoping for her, like, because I think she had him with her legs at one point. I was hoping she was gonna do what she did in them, the first movie and just snap the motherfucker's neck, but went with the lame garden gnome to the eye and didn't even look cool. And then this bitch comes in and blows Melina away like she ain't shit with her fucking laser beams. I'm like, God damn it.
Like, I was upset when Kano got taken out, but my whole thing is like he's gonna come back for the sequel.
Right. He's got to have the face.
Yeah.
Now,
well, they made what was the line? I know they dropped it.
They said nobody really dies in Mortal Kombat. Yeah, I mean it's true. They really don't.
So it's like a death match.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So are we good? Any other notes on the movies before we move on to a general Mortal Kombat discussion?
Did any of you notice any like Easter eggs? Because on the vase I saw that fucking not Toro. What the centaur guy? What's his name?
Motaro.
Yeah. He was chilling on the vase. You see that?
Yeah. I saw Motaro. I saw Kodo Khan in a little fucking picture for a second. I definitely saw Shao. Yeah, Nightwolf. I think I wonder if they were insinuating that Nightwolf was the one with Kano that Kano took out. But yeah, that was cool. Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn needs to be in the second one for sure, and like I fucking can't wait because that is one of my favorite characters in Mortal Kombat. I guess that's a good segue to go into our Mortal Kombat general discussion, right?
Yeah. Anybody else with any other movie notes before our general?
Only on the
one
other
thing
movies.
I pray for. There's one thing I pray for, and that is I hope they get a better Shao Kahn than they had for Annihilation. Because
dude, he's so bad.
I was excited at first when when the sequel was coming. I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be fucking awesome. And then that happened. I was like, oh shit.
He couldn't have took more
Sorry.
steroids or something. Like, goddamn. I mean, honestly, dude, you're supposed to be fucking looking like Arnold, and you're fucking over there looking like you just did some curls before set and called it a day.
I got my pump. Let's film.
All right, do you guys know the origin of the game, like how it started life?
I mean, to an extent, but go ahead.
All right, yeah, it started out Midway. Yeah, Midway.
Yep.
Yeah, Midway. Midway was like they wanted a game. It was just like supposed to be an in-between game while they were waiting. So someone got the idea. Well, why don't we get a name like they had Terminator 2 that had all those other, recognizable faces. So that and they were just doing like the motion, the style, the motion capture, I guess is that what we're calling it?
I understand where you're going. Because
style.
when it came out, it introduced because I mean, in the arcades you had Street Fighter as the main fighting game, and that had a cartoony look. This was the first fighting game that had a realistic look, which
they called them sprites. And what they called them sprites, and what they would do is they would take shot after shot after shot of somebody doing a motion and basically just kind of put it in there almost like stop motion a little bit and just throw it into the game.
If you want to see actual footage of that, check out the documentary Insert Coin.
Yeah.
And you can see they've taken the actual photos. But yeah, it started life as a fighting game for Jean-Claude Van Damme. And then he was like not returning calls, and they were just like, fuck it, let's make our own game, and they just started designing.
They got the look-alike.
And then he starred in Street Fighter.
I know. And no, if you want to get even crazier, then he stars in Street Fighter the game. Street Fighter the movie, the game, which is ripping off the Mortal Kombat style of fighting. It's got the sprites.
Yeah.
I remember when I saw that at the arcade, blew my mind. I'm like, it's fucking Jean-Claude.
Dude,
Great.
fucking Johnny Cage, basically, like if you go back and look at the first Mortal Kombat game, he's 100% a Jean-Claude Van Damme ripoff. And he was actually played by Master Pacina, Daniel Pacina, who runs a dojo in Chicago, and he actually played not just Johnny Cage, he played Scorpion and Sub-Zero as well. And then in Mortal Kombat 2 played all the ninjas, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Reptile.
Yeah, as a badass.
Yeah. So we have Jean-Claude Van Damme to thank for being an asshole about returning calls.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, right? Dude, just like with Mortal Kombat, it's always been in my life. Like since I was a little kid, like that was the game I fucking remember probably first playing. Like my first game was probably Mortal Kombat on I think maybe Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 on Nintendo 64.
I was going to ask what your first one was. I can imagine how pissed off Little Kruger would have been if his first one was the Super Nintendo Mortal Kombat. There's no blood or anything.
Right. No,
actually, I think the Super Nintendo had blood, and the Genesis, you needed to input a blood code.
No.
ABACABB.
Had to put the code on the Genesis one? Well, I actually had it in the code off the top of my head. There's actually 2 codes. Most people don't know that. Yeah.
Including
I don't know the other one. They said it in the doc, actually. I got thrown off.
No,
Can I jump?
Go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to say, because when I'm hearing you talk about it, what I found really interesting, and then you just confirmed the point, because I was curious what was the first Mortal Kombat game you saw, right? And that would determine which series of the games you really started to delve in. Because for me, I was an arcade fiend, and Mortal Kombat, I loved Street Fighter, and I was loving all the Double Dragons, more 1, 2, and 3, And when my parents ran they had a storefront furniture shop, and on the weekends they would have a spot at the swap meet. So I'd constantly be in an arcade every weekend, right? And when Mortal Kombat showed up, holy, that was it just blew everybody's mind, right? The blood in that, and everybody was all about it. And I remember I got the original for the Genesis for Christmas. And I just remember playing the shit out of that game. And I guess the reason why the whole no tournament thing never bothered me is because in my mind, Mortal Kombat was picking your tower. There wasn't a tournament.
Yeah.
You picked your tower, right? So that's why so for me, I had Mortal Kombat 1, right? And for some, like, I would play Mortal Kombat 2 at times, but it would be so crowded at the arcade, I would just stick with the first one, right?
Gotcha.
But then when 3 came out, I would see it from a distance. Again, it was always crowded, right? But then I had gotten 3 for Christmas, so I played the shit out of 3, right? And I got an Ultimate after that, and that was the last Mortal Kombat game I played until Shaolin Monks, where it was Liu Kang and Kung Lao as like a third-person fighter, which was awesome, and you could play 2 player. That was a great game, but my buddy I played it with, it's like we really didn't care about the story. Like, I didn't like how, I think, now correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been a long time, but was Reptile an actual reptile? Like, he wasn't like he was an actual reptile at his lair?
He was he's always been a reptile. But
I remember from like Mortal Kombat 2, he was just like Scorpion and Sub-Zero. He was a ninja. So that was
but the gimmick for his character is actually that he fucking is like disguised as a ninja, and he's kind of like V. Like, he could take his fucking skin off and he's a reptile.
Okay. All right. I got it.
So technically he's always been a reptile. But like in Shaolin Monks, they went with like he's all reptilian and he kind of has ninja style wrappings around his head.
So that's where me and my buddy were playing it. We're like, whatever. It's fun. So we kind of had that thought about it. And then after Shaolin Monks, then I played Deception. That was on the PlayStation 2, which again, like, the story I didn't really care about. I was just more like, man, I get to go to these nether realms and challenge these guys. It's awesome. Like
Deception's awesome storyline, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, personal opinions. And then Deception was the last game I played until 11, which I also played the DLC Aftermath. And the plot of 11 of the Empress of Time being upset about certain people losing in the tournament and wanting to go back in time, for me, I was just like, all right, whatever, just let me fight. Let me unlock whatever, let me play with, because what I really loved about 11 is that it gave you an opportunity to play as each character, so you can get an idea of like who would you want to really play as when you just do the arcade. Do you like Cassie Cage, or do you like whatever the fuck? But the fact of Ronda Rousey being casted as Sonya Blade for the voice acting is like, okay, so we're not taking this seriously. So, but going back, so for me, but from in name only, but for me,
I'm sure it's sold copies.
So, but going back to me at the arcade, seeing Mortal Kombat for the first time, I'm like, shit, look at all this blood. Like, that's what Mortal Kombat was to me. I didn't have time because before I got it, like, I got the cartridge, but by the time I got the game, I was already like so involved in the arcade. Me at like 10 years old when I got it, I just playing the game over and over. I think wasn't interested in reading all the shit that was on my Genesis.
No,
what I mean? In grainy. So, but that's what Mortal Kombat was to me. It was just like some gory fighting, and I was interested in the characters, and I was interested in some of the storylines, but I didn't. It didn't draw me in enough to go dig deeper into the lore. Like, oh, Sonya Blade and Johnny Cage, hook up and have a kid. Cool. Like, right on.
I get what
that's where I'm at.
No, I get what you mean, but I think a big reason, like you've taken breaks in your Mortal Kombat, like, you know what I mean. You haven't, followed the story as closely as like other people. So, like, I think that's probably why, like, a lot of the things in the movie didn't make you angry, which is good.
Sure.
I mean, for sure.
I'm willing to admit to that. Totally.
Yeah. No, like, for me, just like, I think I may even go back a little bit farther than Mortal Kombat 3. I think maybe it was Mortal Kombat 2 on PS1. But like, just from that moment, that first time I played Mortal Kombat, I never stopped. Like every time the new game came out, I got it, on release day, or if I found that a mom and pop shop that was selling it early, I'd fucking go and grab it, like and even all the way up to like, the newer games, like the new games have like just the lore is so deep. Like it's not even funny, and like I guess I'm like a reason why I love Mortal Kombat so much is each character, each fighter, you can go into hours upon hours of lore, and you can go into different timelines. It's very much like comic books. Like you can, with certain characters, you can go into 3 or 5 different timelines of when they do different shit. And Mortal Kombat's very similar. There's like there's the original timeline. That ends at Armageddon. Then around Mortal Kombat 9, they basically restart from the first tournament, and then Mortal Kombat 9, Mortal Kombat X, and Mortal Kombat 11 are the newest timeline.
You know what I think you started with probably was Mortal Kombat Trilogy.
No, definitely not
because Mortal Kombat 2 was not available for the PlayStation 1.
It was either PlayStation. Like I know I have like
it was PlayStation and 64. The first Mortal Kombat games on PlayStation 64 were Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3.
No, I get what you're saying, but like I had other systems too. Like I had the Super Nintendo, so I could be crossing my mind. Okay. But I think Mortal Kombat 2 is like we at least had both of those things in the house, and I played them at the same time. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But yeah, fucking it's something I hold like super dear to my heart, and I think it's probably the reason why I'm so into super violent, like if you know me from Flesh Wound Horror, I'm the guy that's into the kills and the fucking over the top gore, and like I attribute my love to those things definitely from Mortal Kombat, because that was definitely probably the only thing I was allowed to. I don't even know why my parents allowed me to play it. Like they definitely shouldn't have. I'm ripping motherfuckers' spines out and shit. But I mean, they were cool with it.
Go check this out.
Yeah. Oh, dude, like I vividly I remember the last Mortal Kombat because like it was a tradition with my mom. Every time a new game would come out, I'd be following it like really hardcore, and we would just sit and watch all the fatalities and hype of the new game. And she would always, like she knows how deep my love for this shit is. She bought me like an arcade not that long back, so I have a fucking Mortal Kombat 2 arcade sitting in my bedroom right now.
Nice. Fuck yeah.
Question. Yeah. And it just left my brain as soon as I said the word.
God damn it.
Cover for me, someone.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. So, Ozzy, you wanted to talk about some of the fucking the newest game. I just like what's cool about Mortal Kombat, I think, and one of the most appealing things to Mortal Kombat games nowadays is the guest characters. In Mortal Kombat X, you could play as fucking Leatherface. You could play as fucking Jason. You could play as fucking you
the Xenomorph.
Oh yeah, you could play as a Xenomorph, and you could play as Predator. And then Mortal Kombat 9, they had fucking Freddy Krueger as a guest character, for fuck's sake.
Well, and like a Freddy Krueger.
Well, yeah, God damn it, Todd. It was Jackie Freddy. But the 2010
it's still fucking Freddy Krueger, goddamn.
I know. And I turned on that movie, so
I really hope. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say it was badass because he had like 2 gloves, so like he was just cutting motherfuckers up. And like, dude, they had a boiler room fatality where like he summoned the boiler room, and then they had another fatality where he does like the Johnny Depp thing where he fucking pulls him through. Dude, it was so it was fucking perfect. Freddy was like my main for Mortal Kombat 9.
I would imagine so.
I remember my question, Kruger. Did Mortal Kombat influence your wrestling persona?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, it seems like it could be a character out of the game.
Oh, definitely. I think to an extent, but yeah, I think
Ozzy's over there like screaming kayfabe. I can see in his eyes.
Yeah, no kayfabe anymore. I've been out of the business for two plus years. But fucking yeah, that's no, I get what you mean. Like especially when I was when I like, especially with the mask and stuff, I get exactly what you mean. Like there is probably in the back of my head.
Would you get the dragon tattoo on you?
Oh, for sure. Like
Okay.
I was just thinking about that today. Honestly, I was just like, fuck, I need to get that somewhere on my body for sure.
You made me think
Oh.
of the other movie.
What,
Other
Annihilation?
dragon. No.
So actually, Kruger, what would be your recommendation if somebody had, saw this and are like, cool, what more Mortal Kombat should I watch? What's the first movie they should watch?
I know the answer. Everyone's
Oh,
gonna get.
And not like, I'm not excluding the original or like Annihilation. I'm talking about somebody who's like, just sticks to theatrically released movies.
Well, what theatrically released or just like
No.
Mortal Kombat?
No. As though, somebody who's only seen theatrically released Mortal Kombat
Okay.
movies. What's a movie they should watch?
This right here, Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge. It's a animated film. I just watched it today in prep for this because I was like, I wonder if it holds up as good as I fucking remember first watching it, and it does. It tells the story of Scorpion, another rendition of that, but it takes place in the first Mortal Kombat tournament. So it tells the story of the first tournament, intertwined Scorpion's kind of the focal point for a good portion of it. But the one good thing about it is like he doesn't really oversaturate the other characters. Everybody gets into their own lore, and I think if you're like a newer Mortal Kombat fan, definitely check that out. Okay.
No, I was just saying, and it is streaming on HBO Max as well as all the other films too.
I give that a 5-star, by the way. 'Cause,
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Got your hand up. That's what
yeah,
you're doing.
5-star. Because when I first saw that, it blew me the fuck away. I'm like, oh, this gave me everything I need to know. This is great. I hope the new movie's like this. And it's not, but I still like that one. But like, if you're gonna go to a one-stop shop and you don't want to play the games, I'd say that same.
You want to talk about violence, dude? That cartoon is so fucking violent. Like everything you would want in a Mortal Kombat movie is in that fucking animated movie for sure. Like hands down, especially if you're a diehard fan, but like even like you said, Ozzy, like you really are into like the over the top blood and violence of it. Like that cartoon is worth it. I don't know if you're a big animated guy. I'm not, but that shit is totally worth the watch.
I'm like, not, but if it's good quality, I'll be on board.
Yeah.
Because Harley Quinn, I'm not an animated person, but
dude,
I've
right.
been into that.
The shit, right?
The quality of I finished it, or I'm caught up.
I'm not, so we'll.
King Shark, though, right? Come on.
What's that?
King Shark. King Shark.
Who's King? What about King
Shark? He's awesome, is he not? In
no,
Harley Quinn.
100%.
Okay, yeah, he's my favorite of the whole
absolutely.
show.
No, the only reason I brought that up is because I'm not a big I'm not a big animated guy, but if the story is good enough, it'll keep me coming back. Yeah. And and this is a movie, so what's the runtime on that?
Hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not that long at all.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I literally watched it right before we did the show, and it holds up. Like I think to me, that's the best Mortal Kombat movie that we've gotten. Okay. And like it sucks. It sucks that it's animated because I really I think maybe another reason why I was a little bit disappointed in the new movie is I got that movie the animated movie like a year ago. So like my expectations are set so fucking high to want to see like a live action movie bring out all that blood and violence, and why Mortal Kombat did have enough for me to be satisfied. It could have had like ridiculous over the top amounts. And I think another thing is like there wasn't that many people killing other people other than like main characters. You know what I mean? They need a couple of jobbers to get these guys over to know how badass they are.
So can I ask, what was your opinion of the latest game? Because I mean, when I saw the character of the Collector, I was like,
that's my main.
Oh, is it really? That was going to be my next question. Is so the Collector's your main?
Yep. Yeah. Like I'm like as far as like the video games go, I'm a Reptile main, but
Got it.
just Reptile's not in MK11, unfortunately. So like
Right.
I decided to go with the new guy, and I like Collector because he's got like 6 arms and he fucking steals people and fucking collects their organs and shit. Like he's a really badass
Is he
side
based
character.
off the fucking movie? That sounds awesome.
Yeah, he's like a, how do I explain? Like he's like a mixture between Goro and Smeagol from fucking Lord of the Rings, because like he's obsessed with like gold and shit, but like he also likes to collect like people's organs and fucking put them. He has like this little backpack that these tiny arms on his back hold. It's pretty badass.
Let's get him in a movie
Okay.
right away.
Yeah.
So because obviously favorite DLC character of all time would be Freddy Krueger from Mortal Kombat 9. But what about favorite DLC character from this 11? You had RoboCop, you had Rambo, Terminator. There was
Joker.
Was Spawn? No.
Joker, Spawn.
Joker and Spawn. Okay, yeah. And I mean,
That's
I don't
all
know if
the
you want to count the other. Yeah, in terms of guest characters, out of those 5.
I really like Spawn a lot. I think Spawn is like, even though I don't play as him, like I play, like if we're talking about who I play as the most, it would be RoboCop. But Spawn, just what they did with Spawn, like one of his outros is literally fucking him going to hell, and you see Malbolgia pop out of the fucking pits of hell. Like that is. There's so many, and like the cool thing about those guest characters is like there's so many little homages to the series that character is in throughout, like their moveset or their fatalities or their brutalities, and like it's super cool because I remember just looking back like on like MKX, Leatherface fucking had the fucking sledgehammer kill where he just beat, but it was awesome because like he did it and it looked like, oh, I was like, oh, that's awesome, he fucking just did the homage to the first movie, but instead like of him just dragging him off, he just beat the fucking shit out of him over and over again until the dude's head literally exploded. It was fucking awesome.
Hell yeah.
I actually hope in one of these next iterations, because I mean I played 11, then I went back to X a little bit, just to see the guest characters, right? And I wanted to see their fatalities, and it was really dated, unfortunately. Like I really hope that when whatever next iteration they get to bring some of these characters back and really, do it justice. I got such a huge kick also when it did Rambo versus RoboCop, and hearing Sylvester Stallone and Peter Weller was just like, what? It was such a fun moment. But
Right.
yeah, exactly. But we jumped into your main when I was asking you about your overall thoughts on 11. Just curious about 11 and Aftermath.
I liked Aftermath more than I liked the main story, honestly. Like I did like the main story a lot, but I think Aftermath gave me everything I wanted, like Shao Kahn, being a badass again and shit. Yeah, I love MK11. It sucks that like my favorite character in the franchise isn't in there. Right. That there not being any Reptile. But like in past games, like the MK Deception didn't have Reptile in it either. And that kind of hindered some of my enjoyment. It didn't really hinder my any of my enjoyment when it comes to MK11, because it's just like the story is basically fucking Avengers. Like it's a Avengers Endgame level of like huge wars happening, crazy shit's happening. Like it was really, they made this game big. And that's what I like about it. Everything feels big, and like the fighting style of this game too is like, at least for me, was a little bit easier to pick up than like MKX or MK9. It's a much more like, it's not as fast paced as MKX. They slowed it down a little bit, but it's like a really good median between like MK9 and MKX. And like I've been able to actually do well on this game. I'm like I sucked ass at MKX. I really was bad. I got my ass kicked online all the time. But this one I could actually hold my own. So I like it a lot. I hope we get another combat pack, because there's characters that we obviously like. There's a big fucking outcry for people wanting more of the color swap ninjas in this game. So like hopefully we can get some more of them in a future DLC pack if they do it. Like I really hope they're not done with the game. It's all up in the air, I think, right now though.
I think with them porting it for next gen systems, it's a good sign though, at least.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, what is your favorite fatality out of all the games that you've seen?
Mine's pretty tame, just because like I have very good memories of being able to pull it off, like on actual arcade machines.
Okay.
And it's Reptile's first fatality, like his first fatality in MK2, where he reveals his face. You see that he's a fucking reptile, and his tongue shoots out and rips your fucking head off, and he eats you. And then then you hear him go and fucking rub his belly. It's fucking
Right.
it's all like just the nostalgia I get when I pull that off is like fucking great. But if we're gonna go with updated, like more recent.
Yeah.
Shao Kahn fucking basically doing so he takes his hammer, hits you in the gut with it, and then he acts like he's like kind of like has a golf club with it, like his hammer is like a golf club, and he basically tees your fucking head, and it goes flying out your spinal, like your spinal cord and your head go flying out your fucking back, and it basically looks like he made your head go flying out your ass. It's fucking awesome.
That's cool.
That's great.
Ozzy,
Okay.
I was just say, Ozzy, what's yours?
Yeah.
You asked the question. You don't even have your answer ready for yourself.
No, I do, but I actually no, I don't. Yeah, I asked the question, but I didn't expect it to be asked of me, because I mean, again, I was all about just like the fighting, or just gory fights, and I got a kick out of all the fatalities in 11 because it got to a point where it's like they can make the gore look so realistic, like make as realistic as possible, and especially on the PlayStation 5, the way the blood looks is so just like, this is beautiful. But
it's gorgeous.
it would be gorgeous, right? Exactly.
God, that was a bad pun.
It was terrible.
That was more of a farce pun.
I actually, right, yeah. What's interesting is I wouldn't tell you more of, what was my favorite fatality versus who I like to main as.
Yeah.
And I think in this game, for 11 specifically, Sonya Blade's punches just feel so just like they look like they hurt. You know what I mean? Like, you can get into a really good combo and it just, kills me out of the water. But I love Rambo. Rambo is like, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, I like, and like just some of the shit, like, him fucking having the, I don't know what the hell they call the trap, but the wooden trap with the spikes.
Yes.
Like, that's so badass. Or, he fucking pops out 2 fucking machine guns that were covered by some fucking, and it's like the best part about it is it's like leaves and shit that weren't there, but once you hit the move, they just randomly appear. It's fucking awesome.
Yes. 100%. Yeah. Shit like that. Like, and just the way they execute the fatalities now, there's always this sound you hear in the background of like the best way I could describe it would sound like a scream that's just far off into the distance as you hear Rambo wins, and everything's just all of a sudden in slow motion. Oh man. So that's just, it's fun. All this is just meant to be fun because yes, Todd.
I know what Ozzy's going to play when we're done. But I'm
actually jumping back into Outriders.
Sorry.
That
I do
pretty fucking sick.
I do have a little trivia bit. This one I remember hearing back in the day, so it's kind of known that the Mortal Kombat characters were supposed to be hidden characters in NBA Jam, and they actually were up until the very last minute when the NBA found out and were like, no, and they made it take it out.
I've actually seen hacks of it where like you can play as like I'm pretty sure you could play. I think you can play as Reptile. I know you can play as Scorpion and Sub-Zero. I've seen hacks of it, and it's fucking hilarious because they add the sound effects too. Like that's it.
That's horseshit.
So NBA had to be pussies.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Yeah,
dude,
I know because they're I was gonna say they always hire the most upstanding people. And you can't deal with Sub-Zero playing basketball. Come on.
Yeah. Nah, fucking like one of the things that appealed to me to the older games too is just some of the silly ass fucking noises like they would just throw in there. Like when Liu Kang would throw his bicycle kick, he would do this like stupid shit like that, and like or like you'd hit an uppercut and fucking one of the, I can't remember who the actual guy was, but one of the creators would pop out of the corner and go toasty and shit like that.
Right.
Like there was always like this goofy ass shit in the older games that was so appealing, and like they're starting to add some of it back in the newer ones. Like they brought friendships back for MK11.
Babality.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Rambo's friendship cracks me the fuck up. Kruger, you probably know.
What is it off the top? I can't remember it off the top.
It's laser tag.
Oh my god!
I'm fucking done because it's fucking Rambo playing laser tag, which is just like, what the fuck? Like it's just pure ridiculousness. But that's Joker's. I got to appreciate Joker's fatalities as well. It seems like it fits right in.
It's awesome.
The Jack in the Box. Oh man.
Well, have you seen his his friendship? It's fucking awesome. He pulls out a gun like he's about to do a fatality, and Batman hits him with a batarang. And he goes, "Oh, bats! Why you gotta ruin all my fun?" It's fucking awesome.
Fuck yeah.
It's just so great to see that the developers had like, I mean, this wasn't necessary, right?
Yeah.
They just created. They thought of, they thought outside the box.
They go above and beyond on like shit. Like I said before, just little intricate details that you would only know if you're a fan of that fucking character. Like they go above and beyond. Like even like with RoboCop, his fucking fatal blow has that. What's I can't think of it off the top of my head. What's the name of the main big old robot thing he fights in the first
209.
movie?
Ed 209,
yeah, that motherfucker comes and starts shooting you, and he has a fatality like that too, and like stuff with when the xenomorph was a thing, the Queen Alien would come out and stab a motherfucker. Like they always do like that. Fuck, even I remember Predator. They did what was it? Carl Weathers' fucking death, like to a T. It was awesome. Like
great.
Yeah, and they just did Mortal Kombat. The team that they've put together, it just goes above and beyond for every single fucking character, and they make sure that especially in the recent games, they make sure even the most minuscule character in the actual story, if you go and dig a little bit deeper and you dig a little bit into the story, there's a lot there to still uncover. So like even if you like a character that gets beat up all the time like Reptile, there's I mean, dude, Reptile is like one of the most mistreated fucking characters of all time for sure. But yeah, just like it's cool that they put so much time into all the little details in the games nowadays.
Do you recall, or did you ever? I'm sorry.
Okay.
Know of how to play as Reptile in the original Mortal Kombat game?
Yeah, yes. You had to wait for Santa Claus to show up and pass by the little moon. And
silhouette on the moon on the bridge, right?
Yeah, on the bridge. It'd be in the pit area, and you'd have to wait to see Santa Claus go across the moon, and you'd have to get a double flawless victory and hit a fatality. But you couldn't do a stage fatality; it had to be a regular fatality. And then at the end,
like a real fatality. Now,
yeah, you couldn't just uppercut him because I remember trying to do it on my arcade, and it pissing me off because I kept uppercutting the dude off the pit, and it doesn't count. But yeah, you have to do that, and then Reptile will appear, and then you'll fight at the bottom of the pit in the next stage, and you'll fight Reptile. And in MK1, he's very basic. He's just a mixture of Sub-Zero and Scorpion.
Right.
But then,
yeah.
But it's not until MK2 that he actually gets, his real story. But fucking Ed Boon came up with that idea to have Reptile in a fucking drive-through. Fun fact: he was in the drive-through and was just like, how could I make this game a little bit cooler? And he was just like, "Fuck it, I'll have some stupid shit and have it so he's an extra boss battle." And he ended up becoming. And like the cool thing about that is like throughout the Mortal Kombat franchise, there's been little things that have spawned a character, that being one of them, and now that's a character, that's an iconic character. There was an error in MK2 called Error Macros, and because of this error, people made up online that there was a rumor that Error Macros was actually a hidden ninja in Mortal Kombat. So
I think I see where this is going.
So in Mortal Kombat 3, they brought a red ninja that the fans fucking made up in MK2 called Ermac. And like,
yes,
and
because I remember thinking, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
who the fuck was Ermac? Who the fuck thinks of a name called Ermac?
Yeah, it was a fucking error that it was an error that arcades would get called error macros. It's like there's little things like that throughout the fucking game, like Noob Saibot.
Oh, and then right, Ed
like
Boon and Jacob, or no, John Tobias.
Yeah, Noob Saibot is the original creator's name's backwards. Fucking like. And also he was a secret character in Mortal Kombat 2, and that he was a mother, like he was such a bitch to get. I remember trying like all day on like, you'd have to, like, I can't imagine having to do this at arcade because you actually had to like do two things at once. So like when I got my arcade machine, I'm fucking sitting here trying to, hit two fucking controllers at the same time. But eventually, if you do it right, you get a secret fight. And there's, like I said, there's stuff like that throughout it, throughout the game. I wish though, like one thing I wish little things like that were still a part of the game. I mean, they are to lesser extents, like for example, Terminator's Fatality in MK11 like revealed who the guest characters or who the next guest characters were going to be. But like, I wish there was more characters and secret fights and stuff. That's stuff I miss about the old games that the new games don't have.
I get that.
I did want to talk the original movies real quick. So,
oh yeah,
are we cool to move on to that?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, I'm just going to jump out the box and say, the original Mortal Kombat. Any of you out there that love that, it is 100% nostalgia. It's not a good movie. It's not at all. Now I'm going to go over to the second one. Just as bad of a movie, but entertaining as hell. It is so bad, it becomes entertaining. And I actually don't hate that one. I don't hate either of them, but the first one is a bad movie. That's just, everyone out there is loving it. It's not great.
It's not great, like as far as a movie fucking standpoint, but as far as being like a respectful movie adaptation for a video game, if you're a fan of the fucking video game, you're going to be a fan of the movie, I think, like for sure.
Yeah. And at the time it came out, it was like what, 2 or 3 years after Mario Brothers?
Yeah,
so
Mario Brothers was 90. It is like out of the video game movies from that era, it is the most.
But I think that's what people hold on to is like, oh no, when I saw that was like a real video game movie. Well, but if you were to go back now and like,
when I left the theater,
man, that CGI.
When I left the theater watching that movie the first time, I was doing the karate moves out to the parking lot. Same shit happened with Annihilation. Like, I know it's not a great movie, but I'll be damned if seeing all those characters on screen didn't put a fucking smile on my face and have me going all the way the fuck outside. So I stand by those movies.
I get that, but in Annihilation, you didn't get Shao Kahn. You got a guy cosplaying as Shao Kahn.
I got the fucking bad guy from Cobra. And I love that man.
Oh my god, Brian Thompson is the man, and that's probably a lot of my enjoyment of that. And also, what's his name? Dexter's dad.
Oh fuck yeah, Harrison. I don't know.
Well, no, that's the kid.
New Raiden.
Yeah,
New Raiden.
Haircut Raiden.
Haircut Raiden.
The worst.
Right,
dude. Like the first Mortal Kombat, like especially when I was a kid, Like that was the fucking shit, dude. And like the thing for me that still sells me on that movie till today is like the soundtrack for that first Mortal
Oh my
Kombat
god, I was
movie
just thinking that.
is fucking phenomenal, dude. When like not even just like the Techno Syndrome fucking song, like like I said, go back and fucking watch the fucking Liu Kang versus Reptile fight scene. The fucking music in that is just like so badass, and it fucking works perfectly with what we're seeing. And man, that's like one of my favorite fight scenes of any movie ever.
That was an add-on scene, wasn't it?
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was a reshoot because it was like that one and Johnny Cage and Scorpion. They went back and they filmed more because people were like, "This doesn't have enough fighting."
James Remar, that's who played Raiden in
James Remar.
Yeah,
Harrison.
Yeah.
Now,
Harrison was the son.
Harry.
There you go. Okay, there you go.
I got a question. Like, did you or actually are we still on this the two original?
Yeah, of course.
Because I have a question about like, did you guys ever check out the web series?
Oh yeah.
I did not, and I was going to ask you about that. I did see that was a thing. I just need to find it.
Michael Jai White? Yeah.
Yeah, I should have brought this up to you before because I didn't actually I forgot about it because like it was a weird thing that would come on Machinima's YouTube channel every Friday or something for a while, and it was actually like there was a fake trailer out there for like this Mortal Kombat movie, and it was like a more modern, not like basically Mortal Kombat but realistic.
Was it what was it live action or animated?
Yeah,
it was live action. And they did it was a fake trailer, and it was really crazy. Like there was just a reasoning behind like Reptile being like reptilian, like
he was like a serial killer at some point, right?
Yeah, he's like a fucking serial killer, and he's like got this what the fuck was it? Harley Quinn ichthyosis, which is like a fucking disorder. Your skin makes your skin have scales, and like he's like this. Yeah, and he's like this serial killer that's fucking holding dead people's heads in saran wrap in this fucking fridge. There was like some it was so crazy and just like dark as fuck that I really wanted to see it happening, but we didn't end up getting that. What we ended up getting was the Mortal Kombat Legacy web series, which honestly is pretty good. Like I remember the telling of Sub-Zero and Scorpion story in that for sure was definitely inspired in what we got in Mortal Kombat 2021. It's very, very similar situation.
Same question, live action or animated?
Live action.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I can't remember. I know there was 2 seasons, so I think there's maybe 12 episodes in total. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but
I don't know when I dropped off. I don't even know if I've seen the whole thing, but I know I started it because I fuck with Machinima.
They did a good job with Melina and Katana, I thought too. They did a pretty cool rendition of their story, and it was very much just telling the story. They had a weird one with Raiden, where he basically was found he fell out of the fucking sky, and he happened to fall in front of us, out of the sky in front of a mental asylum. So basically he was treated like a crazy person because he was telling everybody I'm an elder god, blah blah blah. It was pretty
5150.
Cool. Yeah, there's some crazy shit they did with that, but eventually I think the reason why it never got continued was because Machinima fucking went bankrupt. So it lost all the funding for it, but it was really cool.
I did just look it up. It is available to purchase on Amazon digitally. You can get the season, I guess it's the whole series for $6.99. It's 9 parts. They all run. I'll say if I'm averaging them about 11 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. So
so 9 parts. So it's what, an hour and a half? In total?
It's feature length if you do it that way. So I'll definitely check it out though now.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've rewatched it, but it holds up pretty well. But I think out of everything that we've gotten, I would rank like the newest Mortal Kombat as like the third best movie we've gotten so far. Like, because I would,
Scorpion's Revenge is one, right?
yeah, and I would still put Scorpion's Revenge is my top tier, and then like I would still consider the original Mortal Kombat better than the one I saw this year.
Okay, well,
Even
I'm
with
gonna say that's nostalgia, but I totally get that because I like movies that are, I know aren't great, but
Yeah, the gore put it over the edge for me. So that's, I mean,
for me, that's the only thing that's missing in the '95 film, and like if it would have had like that, dude, and like how cool would have it been, like to have just like all that practical gore because it's the '90s or still mid '90s.
I think maybe that's why I'm like not a fan of that one because I think my reaction to that movie was similar to yours on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I prefer Annihilation.
Like Annihilation over the newest one. That's your favorite?
No.
Yeah, it's got Sindel. Sindel's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man,
but it's a camp fest, and I like bad cinema.
Yeah.
You know what sucks though? Like I just recently rewatched it for the show, and I still don't really remember too much. Just seeing all the characters makes me happy.
Dude, just the CGI at the end is so fucking bad. Like don't get me wrong, Reptile in his reptilian form in the first Mortal Kombat movie is like pretty garbage. But like at least he looked cool when he
sell
was
us insurance.
like at least he looked cool when he was in ninja form. But the fucking man, the animality and Annihilation with like, especially when Liu Kang, like the dragon is so fucking bad, and like fucking Shao Kahn turns into like this Hydra looking fucking thing, and it's just it's like the two. It's like it's basically the equivalent of a early 2000s fucking Asylum like movie, like Komodo versus fucking Boa or some shit like that.
I remember apologizing to my brother for wanting to see that movie.
It was probably best.
Yeah, but I do like. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, even though I didn't love the newest Mortal Kombat, I do want to see it continue. Like I do want to see this spawn a series because, but at the same time, Warner Brothers animation needs to get on the fucking next Mortal Kombat Legends too, because that shit, that's the best thing out there for me. But what were you gonna say, Ozzy?
No, I was just gonna say if there's anything else you guys wanted to add on. I was looking at closing this out. So any other final thoughts you wanted to add on before we head out for the day, depending on when you're listening or watching?
I just want more Mortal Kombat all around, movies, games. Even though I don't play them religiously, I will buy them if you have a cool character. So, please give me more. I want to see more Kano.
Kano, we all want more Kano. And of course, don't forget to sponsor the patreon.com Flesh Wound features. And of course, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell.
And don't forget, now
T-shirts!
There we go. Available now on Flesh Wound features.com.
Merchandising.
Where are you
Where
gonna
the real money from the movie is made.
Ozzy, do you have
mileage after this.
you got your elf shirt yet?
Just in time for Mother's Day.
No, I'm actually waiting for my Flesh Wound Farce shirt.
Oh, yes. We'll have to see it. We'll see it soon enough on the show.
Fuck yeah.
I can't wait to wear it to trivia.
There you go.
Fuck yeah.
All right.
All right, then, ladies and gentlemen, that's Pugs, Flesh Wound producer Todd, Mike Kruger. Final words?
Yeah,
Kruger?
I'll see you
All right, we're good. All right, I'm Ozzy V. Thanks for joining us on Flesh Wound Horror. What?
No, you're good.
But wait, hold on, Ozzy. Pugs, do it.
Follow us across all the social media bullshits. Big thank you to Ozzy V from Flesh Wound Farce coming over here and helping us out. With that being said, gentlemen, let's get the fuck out of here. Ozzy, say good night.
Good night.
Todd.
I don't know what to say after Ozzy. So, Ozzy, your hair still sucks.
Stay sick, motherfuckers.
I'll see you in Disneyland.